Roger, Governor Rick Scott just halted high-speed rail between Orlando and Tampa. What's your take on that?
Well, first of all, I think the decision shows uncommon political courage by Governor Rick Scott. The fact is that the Tampa-Orlando high-speed rail is a boondoggle for a number of reasons. First of all of the studies, including the study by the Libertarian Reason Foundation, show that it is a sinkhole, a money loser, a train route that can never make money. Secondarily, because of the short distance and the residential neighborhoods, high-speed rail is a misnomer. By law, that train can never exceed 100 miles an hour. So this was a boondoggle forced through by Charlie Crist to reward a number of his political supporters. It never made sense for either passengers or the taxpayers of Florida.
Okay, fine, but now where does it go from here?
Well, I think it's important to understand that the route that does make sense for high-speed rail is Miami to Orlando. In the entire history of Amtrak, the only two routes that made money consistently are Orlando-Miami and Washington-Boston. So the original plan was to have the company that bids on and builds and operates Orlando and Tampa absorb the operating losses from that route, which would be massive, and in return get the contract to build Miami-Orlando. Miami-Orlando makes sense because it will make money, it will create jobs, and it is the rail link that you need, and you can go at extraordinarily high speeds between Miami and Orlando. So the real key for Rick Scott is, how do you cancel this, Orlando-Tampa? How do you retain those funds? The Obama administration's made it pretty clear they don't intend to give us that $2.4 billion for other transportation projects such as port improvements or highway improvements. So they're playing hardball. And then lastly, how does Rick Scott keep his pledge to create 700,000 new jobs without an infusion of $2.5 billion? The other point I'd make, in which the governor's absolutely correct, is we're being told this would be $2.5 billion from the feds, $2.5 billion matching funds from the state. That's not true. It'd be more like $3.5 billion from the state. And Rick Scott courageously and correctly says, folks, we don't have the money.
Now, do you think it's hypocritical for a Republican, both Republican and Democrat senators, to say, hold a minute, let's not put a halt completely on receiving all this federal money, when most of them voted against the Obama stimulus, and this is where the money's come from. This is the Obama stimulus itself.
Well, first, we have a couple different factors. Governor Scott has come out for killing the high-speed rail link between Tampa and Orlando. State Senate President Mike Herodopoulos is backing him up, which I also think is a courageous position. By the way, a poll in today's Miami Herald shows that 68% of Floridians think the governor and Senator Herodopoulos are wrong. So this is a courageous position. 26 Republican senators co-signed a letter today insisting that this be funded, and there's an attempt right now to circumvent the governor by going through a rail authority that was created by the legislature in 2009 to build this rail link anyway. We're going to end up in court before this is all over. The truth of the matter is, we need the jobs, we need the stimulus, but we don't need it for Orlando, Tampa. We need it for Miami, Orlando.
Now, Roger, I know we've discussed many potential presidential candidates, and a lot of people are throwing around one particular name, Allen West. What's your take on that?
Well, listen, Allen West served his country in the military with distinction. I think he should master being a freshman congressman and master that job before he moves on to a much bigger job.